my role in the museum is to look after the collection of illuminated manuscripts in the museum's library, the National Art Library. What we're looking at here are two single leaves cut out of a choir book. The choir book, the original book, is German, of the early 13th century, I should think. There's no indication of date in it, of course. And the first question is, why do we have them as single leaves? The reason really derives from the particular nature of the collection of illuminated manuscripts from the V&A, which is brought together in the 19th century in order to provide source materials for design students. Here we have the V&A, the government-funded enterprise set up after the Great Exhibition of 1851, with a great educational role as it has today. So rather than collecting expensive complete manuscripts, it bought on the market leaves cut from illuminated manuscripts. Now this today seems to us as a rather barbaric activity, but you can trace the history of cutting up medieval manuscripts in order to have single leaves right back to the 18th century. And what is the rationale? Well, in many manuscripts you get very few pages that have images and ornament, and rather than carrying a whole book, you want the illuminated part, and so the page is cut out. And in fact, design museums, art museums throughout Europe in the 19th century are putting together large or small collections of these single leaves, so that in the case of the V&A, or South Kensington Museum, as it was known until 1899, by the year 1900 there were over 2,000 single leaves cut from illuminated manuscripts. And here we see an example of just that.
I'm Research Fellow and Curator here at the museum, working on the Medieval and Renaissance redisplay, all the way from its inception 7 years ago through to its completion now as we are prepared to open the galleries. Both of these leaves are going into a display which looks at the great church, so monasteries and cathedrals, and their place in society, really, during the period from around 1000 to about 1250, which is about the time that these choir leaves would have been made. And at that time, the great church was the hub of a whole range of not only religious activity, but also scholarship and artistic production. And we have to imagine that probably these choir leaves would have been made by monks or clerics in their free time, whilst they were based at a large ecclesiastical foundation. We thought it was tremendously important, not only for our visitors to be able to appreciate the wonderful visual beauty of these manuscripts, but also to get a sense of how they might have been used and what that would have meant. And so that really involved us thinking more about the music that's depicted on them and what that would have sounded like.
On the Listening Gallery project, my role has been to find the chants that would go with the objects which are to be shown in the exhibition, and then to transcribe these chants from the early manuscripts to try and find them in the modern, 19th century monastic books, and then transcribe them into our modern notation.
To sing these pieces, it's a very different experience to, for instance, we all study opera, we study song repertoire, we study, classical period, romantic period. I mean, obviously we dip into Baroque and Renaissance, but I mean, in terms of singing medieval music, it's a very different style, and there's a lot less vibrato. You do need to access a different part of your voice and also a different part of your emotions as well. It's a different kind of line that you need to sing. It's much longer lines. You need to stagger the breathing amongst your colleagues. It's choral singing without being choral singing. It's got an awful lot of soloistic requirements, I suppose. But, I mean, yeah, it's very different to what we usually sing, but a learning experience, I think, very valuable. To be a part of an exhibition at V&A is such an honour, I think, for all of us. It's so close to our college. It's such a huge part of London's culture. And the thought of being listened to by people who are interested in culture and in art and in music is, I mean, it's really what we're here for. We're here to be a part of London, of the world's music scene, of, any opportunity that we're offered in that way. And this is wonderful in that sense.